Okay, baby, let's be real for a second. If you clicked on this video, it's probably because you're tired of feeling like you're always behind. Like no matter how much you plan, something still slips through the cracks. You've got reminders on your phone, you've got sticky notes on your desk, mental checklists in your head, and somehow, baby, you still forget to email your boss back or pay that bill on time. If that's you, trust me, you're not alone. Y'all, I was once the queen of scattered planning. My brain felt like it had 87 tabs open at once and none of them were loading. It was exhausting. But then I figured out a system that actually worked. And it's so simple, it almost feels like cheating. Okay, so today I'm going to be breaking that down for you step by step so that you can finally stop stressing and actually feel on top of your week. Y'all, here's the thing. Most of us don't fail at planning because we're lazy. We fail because the systems we're using are way too complicated or they don't match how our brain actually works. Okay, so tell me if this sounds familiar. You try a daily planner, but halfway through the week, it feels like your to-do list is longer than the Cheesecake Factory menu. Okay? Or you set reminders on your phone, but then you swipe them away and poof, they're gone. Or maybe you're juggling sticky notes, notebooks, apps, and random scraps of paper, and you still can't find that one important thing that you need. That's not a you problem. That's a system problem. Okay, y'all, I am so pumped about this video because this system is literally going to change your life, especially if you're a newbie planner and you're just like, I'm not really quite sure how this whole planning thing works. I got you covered. I'm going to share this genius planning system that you can start right away, and it's literally going to help you to stay on track of everything you need to do and make sure that you don't forget anything. Now, I do use a hybrid system, so I love using my phone in addition to my planner, but you totally don't have to, and you're still going to be able to get everything done and remember everything. Okay, so let's get right into it. All right, so here's where this system comes into play. The idea is so simple. Whenever something pops into your head, what you're going to do, you're going to drop it into your weekly spread. Okay, so for the purpose of the example of this video, I'm going to be using our vertical line layout. I love this layout, especially for something like this. Now you can use this sort of system in addition to your regular calendar system. So as you can see here, these are the inserts that I use just for my regular calendar system because you're also going to be keeping track of other things outside of this. These are just tasks and random things that may seem simple, but they still need to get done. So you're going to drop it either into one spread that you're going to use for your weekly spread. So I technically could drop these things into my weekly spread, or you can have a separate dedicated spread to things like this. Remember, this is so that you can make sure that you remember all of the small little tasks that still need to get done. So you're going to drop it down into your weekly spread under the day you want to handle that thing. Does that make sense? Okay. So when the day comes, you're going to find it sitting there and waiting for you. Boom. Okay, so there's no overthinking, no stressing, no losing track of anything. It's like creating a little parking lot for your brain. You're not even holding on to everything at once. You're not, okay? You're just dropping it where it belongs. Boom, boom, whatever day it belongs in, and then you're moving on. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I know I need to call the pediatrician. Okay, I need to call them on Sunday. So I'm going to boom, drop it there. As soon as I think of it, I'm going to get it right on out of my head and I'm going to drop it into my planner spread for that particular week. Let's say I need to do a return to Amazon, which happens to me quite often. I'm going to drop it in on the day that I want to get that accomplished. Okay. Let's say that I need to send a calendar invitation to somebody. Boom. Drop it in on the day that you want to complete that task. So as you can see, these aren't big life events. These aren't outings. These aren't things to do, places to go in a major type of way, if that makes sense. This is the small little task that sometimes that we forget that we need to do. And then we are so bummed at ourselves that we didn't get it done. Like, for instance, You know, if you need to schedule an oil change and you're like, oh my gosh, I need an oil change now. I didn't schedule it, you know, things like that. You know, if you need, your child is going on a field trip and you have to sign a permission slip and it's due by a certain time, drop it in on the day you want to get it done. You see how this system can be so genius in making sure that you don't forget anything. Let's say you want to buy flowers for your entryway. Drop it in. I want to buy it on Friday. And then that way, let's say maybe you have an event coming up on Saturday or Sunday and you wanted those flowers for that event. It's already scheduled. So that way you can make sure you chip away at these things, because you want to be realistic as well when it comes to these reminder things. Because again, I still have a whole nother planner scheduled, you know, day by day with things that I need to get accomplished as well. But these things are just as important as those things. But these are just the little things. Let's say you have a drop off at Goodwill for a donation. You want to do that on Sunday. Boom, it's dropped in. So as soon as you think of that task, you want to go ahead and drop it where it goes. All right, let's say you need to respond to an email from the teacher and you need to do it by a certain day. Boom, drop it in the day that you want to get it done. Let's say it's done Thursday, drop it in on Monday. Okay, does that make sense? So you can see how this is really a great little parking lot system. So that way you're not holding on to everything. You're just dropping it in where it belongs and then you move it on. You're moving on, okay? But you're doing it right when it comes up. So that way you're not stressing about it and you're not losing track of it. If you try to do it later, you try to keep it all inside your head until later, then you dump it all here. The chances of you actually remembering it are slim to none. So I recommend that you just come here immediately and you dump it out, okay? So that is the system in a nutshell. So you're gonna drop it. That's step one. Drop it off. Something pops into your head, like a bill that you need to pay, a work task, a text you need to send, or even something as small as picking up cupcakes for your kids' class. It doesn't need to keep floating around in your brain hoping that you're going to remember it. Give it a spot. Write it down under the day that it needs to happen. And here's the key. The point is not to stop what you're doing and handle it immediately. So you're not going to stop and call the pediatrician right now. You're not going to stop and take the donation to Goodwill right now. You're not going to stop and get your Amazon return done now. You're not going to stop and, return that library book right now. No, that's not the way that this works. The point is to capture it and park it somewhere safe. That way your brain doesn't have to hold on to it like a sticky note flapping in the wind all day. Okay, because let's be honest, walking around trying to remember 10 different things at once, that's why you feel frazzled, distracted, and low-key irritated. When you write it all down, it's like telling your brain, okay, chill. I got it from here. Okay, suddenly you're not wasting energy worrying if you forgot to send that text or if that bill is going to slip your mind. You've got a system that holds onto the details for you. And the magic is, once you start doing it consistently, you're going to feel lighter. Your mental clutter is going to quiet down and you're going to be able to really focus on the task that is right in front of you, which is the whole point of planning. It's not about doing everything all at once. It's about giving everything a place so that you can move through your day with peace and clarity instead of being in a constant mode of survival mode. Okay, you get to feel like the one thing that you are in control of, and that shift, that's when life stops feeling chaotic and you start to feel intentional. And that's what we want, right? Okay, so you've dropped it in. Everything is dropped. As you think of the drop it. Drop it like it's hot. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. It just seems so appropriate, okay? So once you drop it, the next step in the process is that you've got to find it, right? So step 2, find it, okay? So when that day finally rolls around, you don't have to scramble or rack your brain trying to remember what you were supposed to do. You just need to open up your spread and boom, everything is there waiting for you, okay? All the notes, all the reminders, all the to-dos, all the little details you captured earlier are sitting exactly where you left them. Parking lot. Okay, so no more digging through a dozen apps, scrolling through your old texts, or flipping through random notebooks to figure out what's going on. And no more, I knew there was something I was forgetting today. That's not cute. It's all in one place. Okay, and that's when your planner stops being just a notebook and it starts acting like your personal assistant. It's basically whispering, here's your game plan, boss. Here's your game plan, fam, okay? Here's what matters today. And you don't waste time trying to remember. You just get to move straight into doing. And the best part is that you can actually trust it. Now that's the real flex. You trust yourself you've built the habits by putting things where they belong. So instead of walking into your day with stress and guesswork, you walk into it with clarity and confidence. Your brain is going to feel lighter, your energy is going to feel focused, and you're not constantly behind. You're on top of everything. That's the power of having a system. It's not just paper, sis. It's peace of mind. Okay, so here's why this sort of system works, all right? Now, just to kind of, talk you through your monthly planner, because you may have this, if this is the sole system that you decide to use, you're definitely going to have a monthly system in addition to this. Now, again, I like using this sort of system with my regular weekly planner that has all of my outings and places to go and things like that. I don't typically write a lot of reminder to-do list items here. If I do, I'll write it in this section right there. This would be that type of planner. And again, because you're doing it week by week, you're just dumping it in as it goes along. The whole month will be planned. You can also have the whole year in here. And then again, as things come up that you need to remember to do, you're going to drop it in that day. But you also need to have some sort of monthly calendar, especially again, if this is your sole system. Now, if you're just using it as a reminder, system, like I'm kind of explaining to you, you may not need a monthly calendar for your outings and appointments and things like that. You just simply use this for your reminders, and then whatever other system you decide to use for your monthly planning for your other things. But I like to have a monthly planner as well, because these are all the places I need to go, all the appointments I have. Also, a great way of using this in addition to this reminder system is that, you may have something that requires a multi-step process or a build-up, if you will. So let's say you had some sort of project you were working on and you had tasks associated with that project. You could come here and write in the due date of that project. So let's say it's due on the 2nd. And then prior to the 2nd, you would build up to that project and write all the reminders on whatever day you want to get them done to build up to that project. So you see how this sort of system works really well. Now, I know you might be thinking, okay, Marquita, but what makes this any different from me just scribbling out a random to-do list? And that's where the magic kicks in, okay? It's the weekly batching for me, okay? So the daily list, they can be overwhelming. You end up dumping 37 things onto today, and then you're salty when half of them roll into tomorrow. So let's say I took all of this and I just put it on one big to-do list. That is super duper overwhelming. But on the flip side, long-term planning can feel way too broad. Like, I know what I want 3 months from now, but sis, what am I supposed to be doing today? Okay, so that's two contrasting things. So that's why a weekly spread like this is the sweet spot. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's just right. You've got enough space to plan ahead, but not so much space that you're spiraling, trying to map out months into the future that you can't even control yet. Okay, it's basically you giving yourself a little mini roadmap for the week. And here's when it really eats, okay? When you start theming your days, baby, like Monday admin day, Tuesday creative day, Wednesday errand day, Thursday meeting day, Fridays wrap up, prep, whatever you decide, suddenly you're not staring at a giant messy list anymore. You're sliding things into their lane. Everything has a home. So that's something to consider as well. Not just kind of writing random things in, but theming your days, okay? So instead of feeling like you're drowning in random tasks, you're like, okay, I know exactly when and where this belongs. That's clarity. That's structured. That's how you stop playing catch up and actually start moving with intention. Okay, so multiple ways to do this. I do love a good theme day, and maybe week by week, 1 week you do a themed week, and then the next week you do something like this. The key is to not try to hold on to all of that in your brain, but actually get it out into paper. Now, let me say this. I know what you might be thinking. Well, let me just do that digitally. Okay. Now, digital tools do have their place, but when it comes to actually remembering and following through on things, paper wins every single time. And here's why. Okay. Writing something down, just cements things in your brain way more than typing it out. Okay. Also, you're not battling notifications and distractions on your phone. That's me all day long. Stuff is always popping up, distracting me. Like I'm like squirrel. You know what I mean? And so that's why this sort of system beats out that every single time. And you get this satisfying visual of your week right in front of you. When you're using a paper planner, you're not just planning, you're connecting with it. It feels intentional. That's why I always recommend putting this system into your weekly planner spread first, and then letting your daily to-do list flow from there. All right. Okay, y'all. So a few months back, I had so much going on. I had a ton of work deadlines. I had so much family stuff going on, random errands. And normally I would have been somewhat stressed out of my mind. Okay. But instead of trying to juggle it all in my head, I just dropped each task into my weekly spread. So when Thursday came, I saw, oh yeah, pick up poster board for my daughter's school project. And because it was already there, I didn't have that 9 p.m. panic of realizing I forgot. So that's the power of this system. It literally saves you from those last minute freakouts, which we all have. Okay. Now listen, being organized doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. Nobody's out here color coding their entire life 24/7. Being organized means you've got a system in place that makes life easier. That's it. And that's exactly what this system is all about. It's not about stacking on more pressure or creating another thing to stress about. It's about every errand, don't forget, it has a home. Okay. So if you've been feeling scattered, overwhelmed, or just straight up exhausted from adulting, this is your sign, baby. Try it. It's simple, it's low maintenance, and most importantly, it works. Okay. And let's clear up some of the but what if I questions that always pop up. Okay. People be like, what if I forget to write it down? That's where you train yourself. That's a you problem. If it's in your head for more than 5 seconds, drop it in. Don't debate, don't delay. Drop it in, write it down, and move on. Okay. Some people always say, or also say, what if my day changes? Then you flex with it. What could you do? Okay. Move the task forward. That's literally the beauty of a weekly spread. It bends with you instead of breaking your flow. That's what it should do. Okay. And then others may say, what if I fall off? No guilt. Give yourself grace. Period. Okay. Just pick up where you left off. The system is not going to be mad at you. It's sitting there waiting for you when you come back. All right. This isn't about being perfect, y'all. It's about being prepared. You're not trying to prove you've got it all together. You're just building a rhythm where life feels less chaotic and more intentional. That's a win. And a win is a win. Okay. So lastly, something that I like to consider, you may want to consider as well, is that, if there are instances where you don't complete all of this stuff. So let's say maybe on the 22nd Monday, you got overwhelmed with your regular schedule. If you decide again to split things out like I do, or just outings, Aaron, you just had a super duper busy day and you weren't able to complete all these tasks. What I like to do is just take my highlighter and then I just highlight those tasks. Now, if they're super urgent, you may want to push them to the next day. Now, if they're not as urgent, then I like to make a list on the sidebar here of those tasks I wasn't able to complete, and I simply push them to the next day. Okay. So again, everything is about grace. It's not that serious. Okay. Make sure that you're just doing the best that you can do, but you need a way to indicate what things that you weren't able to do, and being able to see it visually with some sort of highlighter just kind of lets you see, hey, I didn't do so well this week, or hey, I did really good. I don't have anything highlighted. Also, and I talk about this all the time, is that you want to make sure that you're very intentional, balanced. You only give yourself enough that you can actually complete. Don't overload everything. And that's why for a lot of people, to-do lists don't work. If you have, again, one big list, imagine all of these items on one long to-do list. It's so overwhelming. That's why breaking it down day by day is the real flex. Okay. And another reason why you want to make sure you don't put too much in your day to where it's not realistic for you to complete those tasks. Okay. Now, baby, if you're ready to stop stressing and finally stay consistent, give this system a shot this week. Trust me, it's going to change the way you feel about planning. All right. So that's it, you guys. If in this video you found it helpful, make sure you hit that like button. That's how I know that you want to continue seeing content like this. All right. I really appreciate you for joining me for today's video. Hopefully, if you're new here, you'll consider subscribing to my channel, and y'all drop a comment below letting me know if you're going to try this system or if you're already doing something similar. I love swapping planner hacks with y'all. Okay. So this insert will be linked below because I do feel like this is a great to-do list sort of style insert that could really help you to organize your thoughts and make sure that you remember it all. Okay. Because that is a real big challenge for people, is that you know you have a lot to do, but you feel like you're just not remembering stuff and your phone is not working for you. This system is what you need. All right. So that's it, y'all. Until next time, keep planning smarter, not harder. And I'll catch y'all in the next video.